Please be seated. What could be better than this? Well, maybe if we were joined by an old friend. Thank you. It is common for Beloit College commencements to be coincident with Mother's Day. And in my experience, the quality of the weather on Mother's Day is nearly completely correlated, R squared of 1.0, with the quality of the mothers in attendance. Let's offer our appreciation for the utter perfection of the mothers and grandmothers of the class of 2012. Those comments may come back to haunt me in a later year. It is a great day to be a Beloiter. Juat hodie Beloitensis esse. It is a great day to be a Beloiter. On behalf of the staff and faculty of Beloit College, welcome to the 162nd commencement at Beloit College. We are gathered here today for a single purpose. We are gathered here today because 323 talented and mostly not hungover people among us have earned the right to walk across this stage and accept one of the most important and worthy symbols of accomplishments they will ever accept. We are gathered here today so that parents of these 323 talented people among us can lay claim to the fact, the undisputed fact, that they have spawned a Beloit College graduate. While also rejoicing in the fact that their tuition bills are firmly in the rear-view mirror, we are gathered here today to prove to the siblings of these 323 talented people that these siblings, were wrong all along. We are gathered here today so that faculty and staff, mentors, can thank and be thanked for the last 4 years in which the power of an undergraduate education at its best has become manifest, so gloriously manifest in these 323 talented people. We are gathered here today so that we can witness the creative power of these 323 talented people whose creativity is evident on so many of the mortarboards, nearly all G-rated mortarboards, thank God, adorning the stars of this show. We are gathered here today to welcome into the ranks of Beloit College alumni 323 newly minted degree-holding stars, all of whom are poised to live purposeful lives of consequence in a world increasingly in want of such people, all of whom are waiting for Provost Ann Davies to pronounce their names accurately as they stride across the stage, all of whom have pledged 10% of their future net wealth to the college. We are gathered here today because it is the greatest of days to be a Beloiter. We are gathered here today to congratulate and celebrate the class of 2012. Commencements get me to thinking about turtles. As I woke up this morning and found my way to my front walkway, it gloriously appears, I am not alone. Commencements get us to thinking about turtles. Truth be told, it does not take much to get me thinking about turtles, but I usually exercise a little discretion and keep the bulk of my turtleish thoughts mostly to myself, but not at commencement. At commencement, I let my turtle flag fly. As I look out on this graduating class, it is easy to imagine back over 161 earlier commencements. It is easy to imagine back to the first graduating class of William Hooker, Joseph Colley, and Stephen Peet, who in 1851 were on the cusp of living lives of purposeful consequence and who went on to do so, having been mentored so effectively by our two first faculty members, Jackson J. Bushnell and Joseph Emerson. It is easy to imagine as we look upon the beautiful and historic physical manifestation of the legacy of Beloiters before us, how much our present owes to our past. And it is easy to be reminded of that most Beloitish of theories, the infinite turtle theory. In case you have forgotten, Stephen Hawking tells a pretty efficient version. Here goes. A well-known scientist once gave a public lecture on astronomy. He described how the Earth orbits around the sun and how the sun in turn orbits around the center of a vast collection of stars called a galaxy. At the end of the lecture, a little old lady at the back of the room got up and said, "What you have told us is rubbish. The world is really a flat plate supported on the back of a giant tortoise." The scientist gave a superior smile before replying, "Well, what is the tortoise standing on?" "You're very clever, young man, very clever," said the old lady, "but it is turtles all the way down." We are a school that is gloriously path-dependent. We stand on the backs of turtles who have preceded us, and future generations of Beloiters will be supported by us. It is both our fortune and our future. This legacy cuts through to our core, down to our very being. Yesterday, those of you fortunate enough to be a baccalaureate heard our brilliant provost and dean of the college, Ann Davies, talk about the college's motto, Scientia vera cum fide pura. And as she does better than anyone else I know, she packed a surfeit of wisdom, wit, and words into 3 short minutes. Her remarks have prompted me to think about mottos and Beloit and provosts. For those of you who find the next few minutes boring, trite, vapid, or worse, I can only say, culpa praepositum, blame the provost. A motto that perhaps more than any other has defined successful college presidencies since the Middle Ages. Most American colleges have mottos. Harvard set a lofty bar when it took early possession of veritas, truth. Unable to see in typical Harvard fashion the postmodern world, Yale, the Beloit of the East, one-upped Harvard and chose Luke's at Veritas, light and truth. I grew up in Ithaca, New York, home of Cornell University, whose motto is a quote from its benefactor and namesake, Ezra Cornell, who said, "I found a school where any person can find learning in any subject." A motto which pretty much from the get-go turned out to be utterly false. But I digress. In the turtle-centric circle in which we operate, if the defining metaphor for the college is the infinite turtle theory, if our wide world is supported by Beloiters down to the core and across time, and if a motto is intended to offer an aspirational institutional truth, an argument can be made that henceforth the college's motto should be Testudines in totum et perpetuum. Testudines in totum et perpetuum. Turtles all the way down. Which, a little abruptly, brings me to the fact that I've been thinking a lot recently about extinction. Why? And why raise the issue of extinction at commencement, for God's sake? Culpa, Professor Nancy Krusko. Professor Nancy Krusko generously gave me a book this fall written by a housemate of hers at Berkeley, Craig Stanford, an expert on reptiles. The book is titled The Last Tortoise, A Tale of Extinction in Our Lifetime. You can understand my concerned interest in this topic. It turns out that the combination of expanding Asian appetite for turtles combined with a growing market among Westerners for exotic pets, including exotic turtles, are putting a serious squeeze on many species of tortoises and turtles. Extinction. At the same time, I've attended and participated in what seems an endless sequence of depressing seminars and meetings this year, all of which focus on the question of whether there is a future for liberal arts colleges. Extinction. One more time, turtles and Beloit linked at the hip. This is relevant now, particularly now because the national debate on higher education is becoming increasingly shrill by the day. It has become shrill in a thin, confused, evidence-challenged, and remarkably unnuanced way. It has also become shrill in a threatening way. The national debate on higher education, however, confounds vastly different approaches to teaching and learning and ultimately the value of a degree. The national debate confounds approaches to teaching and learning which can be expected to produce vastly different outcomes in the short run and even more so over a lifetime. The national debate ignores evidence about approaches to education that work. And to make matters worse, the national debate on higher education is mired in a ridiculously short-run view of the economy and a poorly recognized perspective on the future. Most importantly, the education to which this shrill national dialogue is directed is unrecognizable at this college. Unrecognizable at this college. The defining qualities of the future in America and more broadly the world are change and complexity. Change and complexity. People entering this world who are unable to adapt and seize over the course of their life transformational opportunities will be destined for attenuated lives or worse. People entering this world who are unable to see problems from multiple perspectives, working with multiple people from multiple backgrounds, using multiple tools, and culling through multiple, innumerable sources of information will be lost. People entering this world who have not embraced these facts, who have not taken agency over their education, who have not internalized the nuanced importance, history, and place of change and complexity in this rich tapestry of a world will be hamstrung in trying to live lives of purposeful consequence. But this is a school. Beloit College is a school whose mission embraces change and complexity, and whose lived experience mocks every day the shrill national dialogue. The evidence, I assure you, sits right in front of me. The national dialogue has not yet seen the likes of Russian scholar and soon-to-be American ambassador Amani Edwards, Fulbright scholar Amani Edwards. The national dialogue has not yet had the poignant poetry of Tagore wash over them. The national dialogue has not been confronted by the thoughtful and compelling social activism of Brian Shobe, or the urgent case for human dignity that will be made by Oliver Wyckoff and Mashal Malik. The national dialogue has not yet embraced the transcendent humanity and humility, not to mention raptorish qualities of Eric Hetland, or the reflective engagement of Gabby Gonzalez in promoting the power of local communities. The national dialogue has not yet witnessed how social justice issues can be addressed by Marissa Hutton's ironic dance or moved by Stephen Jackson's sweet music. The national dialogue has not yet laughed at Jerica Zarek's sardonic artistic humor. The national dialogue has underestimated the power of big science coming from this small school, as evidenced by Kayla McDonough and Ari Jacobson. Nor has the national dialogue marveled at Ari's laser-like frisbee forehand, although this may be his twin brother. The national dialogue has not yet heard Ian Hedges make an argument about sensible health policy, nor experienced the lyrical and substantive insights that follow Sasha Dubevnik-McKenney. Wonderful obsessions, and Sasha is nothing if not a miraculous experience. In fact, the national dialogue has not yet been introduced to the 323 talented people sitting in front of me who have been Beloitered so well for these past 4 years, and who are prepared to a person to live lives of purposeful consequence. You. In 4 short years, this school, the generations of Beloiters who have preceded you, and the current Beloiters who have embraced you, has permeated your 323 talented souls, and you are forever a Beloiter, shaped by Beloiters, ever destined to Beloiter. You are made from Beloiters, embodied in future Beloiters. You, the liberal arts college that sits on this beautiful and historic location amidst the effigy mounds at this moment in time, is a college of enormous relevance. At this moment in time, because it is, particularly on this day, sending out to an increasingly complex and ever-changing world 323 so very talented people who are so very desperately needed. What a bright future. Testudines in totum et perpetuum. This is a college of the ages, for the ages, made better and additionally permanent by you, my friends. Class of 2012, Beloiters all the way down. It is a great day to be you. Beloit College, class of 2012. Thank you. Each year, the elected officers of the incoming senior class select one person with whom they'd like to share this most important day, one person whom they believe can endow the last moments of their undergraduate experience with lessons of lasting consequence. Earlier this year, it was Michael Young, the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs at the University of California in Santa Barbara, that they selected to honor and invite to share in this beautiful and beatific morning. By doing so, they have proven that, apologies to Thomas Wolfe, you can indeed go home again. Michael, an alumnus of the college, former lecturer and important staff member, has served this college in almost every imaginable way. In addition to leading our football team, serving as president of numerous student organizations, helping develop and lead what are now our enormously successful Help Yourself and Upward Bound programs. He has even served a term on the Beloit College Board of Trustees. The former Associate Dean and Registrar at Wesleyan University, who has been in Santa Barbara, a town nearly as beautiful, I'm told, as Beloit. Since 1990, now again adds commencement speaker to his long and distinguished list of service to the college. Please join me in welcoming back home Michael Young.
Good morning, everyone. Try it again. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you to Scott, President Bierman, for your kind introduction. President Bierman, trustees, members of the faculty, parents, family, and most importantly, members of the graduating class of 2012, welcome and thank you for this extraordinary opportunity and honor to speak to you today at your commencement. First of all, I must say Happy Mother's Day to all of the moms and mother figures out there. Just this past Friday would have been my mother's 99th birthday. My mom was on a mission and determined that I attend Beloit College. My mother would be thrilled that I'm here today. Thank you also for welcoming me back home to Beloit College. Much of my life runs through Beloit. When I was a young staff member, I met my wife of 35 years, Joanne, right here at Beloit College. Joanne, will you please wave to the crowd over there? She's over there. Joanne was the aunt of one of my students, and I met her in a lounge on the second floor of Bushnell Blaisdell Hall. So don't think I don't know what goes on in those lounges. I'm a proud graduate of class of 1969, and 43 years ago I had the honor of being asked by my classmates to give the commencement address at our graduation. The academic year of 1968-69 had been a particularly tumultuous year for the college. 1968-69 was in the middle of a changing and increasingly militant civil rights movement and anti-Vietnam War movement. This was a time when a generation of young people were running headlong into the values of an earlier era. When my classmates and I arrived in 1965, we were among the first students in what was known then as the Beloit New Plan, and we were very different from previous Beloiters. It was counterculture students, emerging hippies and militants versus blue V-neck sweaters, yellow button-down collars, and the fraternity sorority scene. The world was changing dramatically and quickly, and we were influenced by and became a part of those changes. All over the country, we watched as our generation challenged virtually every value of our parents. The war in Vietnam, along with the accompanying military draft, and the struggle for fundamental human and constitutional rights that was at the foundation of the civil rights movement were stark, in our faces, and impossible for us to ignore. In fact, the change was dramatic for me personally. I entered Beloit College as a Negro and left black. The world, my world, the world of Beloit College experienced profound shifts and change in a very short period of time. I began my commencement address back in 1969 with a quote from W.B. Du Bois, a revered black intellectual and scholar from the turn of the 20th century. Du Bois wrote, and I read as I began my speech, "The problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line." Certainly I, along with many of my student colleagues, particularly those of us in the Afro-American Union, of which I was president at the time, and our allies and friends believed that that was so. And we spent the year pressuring and demanding that the college change to become a positive and proactive agent in responding to the problem of the color line across this nation and right here at home at Beloit College. In many ways, and to its great credit, Beloit College had prepared us both philosophically and educationally to take on these issues and to even take on the college if we thought it was the right thing to do. Beloit College certainly instilled those values in me. In the fall of 1965, President Miller Upton spoke to the entering class of 1969 at convocation in the gym and talked to us about this extraordinary privilege we had to be students here at Beloit College, and that with such great privilege came extraordinary responsibility to society. President Upton was clear that with privilege comes obligation. That message and Beloit's requirement of a field term provided me personally with what I have always thought of literally as the most significant experiences of my life, when in 1967, Beloit College sent me at age 19 on my field term to work in the Beloit Tutoring Center in Mississippi, in Cleveland, Mississippi. I worked as a tutor to dozens of black children and adults on basic literacy and as a bus driver. Actually, it was an old International Harvester bread truck, but my job was driving 13 black children to a newly integrated white school because the school district in Cleveland, Mississippi refused to provide these children transportation to school. I stayed an additional semester in Mississippi to work as a field worker for the Delta Ministry, a division of the National Council of Churches, going to plantations and small towns throughout Bolivar County to encourage and help black folks to register and then to vote, and to help organize them to participate in a political process from which they had been systematically excluded. In Mississippi, I saw systemic institutionalized inequality, grinding poverty, and political subjugation based solely on race and enforced by social custom, the law, the state, and periodically violence. As I said, the experiences that I had in Mississippi were seminal experiences of my life and set the primary tone and course of my life. And for that, I am forever grateful to Beloit College. These experiences given to me by Beloit College literally and fundamentally changed my life. Mississippi clarified my values and crystallized my thinking. Mississippi made clear to me who I was, the privileges I had, and the nature of my obligations and responsibilities to society. Mississippi was a great teacher. If nothing else, Mississippi was unambiguous and clear. You understood things were clear in Mississippi in 1967. Things were literally black and white. So my student colleagues and I challenged Beloit College. We challenged the very institution that prepared and nurtured us personally, philosophically, intellectually, and educationally. Beloit College was right to teach us these principles and values. The college did its job. And we were right to call the college to task for what we perceived to be its shortcomings. And I have to admit that I cringe now at some of the tactics we employed, but to this day, I believe that we were right. We were right to demand diversity of representation throughout and across the curriculum. We were right to demand more diversity in the student body. We were right to demand more diversity in the faculty and staff. We were right to demand that Beloit College be a part of making right what we all knew was fundamentally and morally wrong. We were right, we were just young. So what does all this have to do with you 323 graduates of the class of 2012? Today, 40 plus years later, I understand that Beloit College is going through another set of challenges centered around 21st century issues of social identity. President Bierman described these challenges in his communication to the college community this past February as the profound questions that racial and ethnic diversity and their intersections with gender, sexual orientation, religion, socioeconomic status, and other identities pose for the nature of knowledge and our responsibilities to one another. Now, I'm not here to tell you or the college what to do. I hate it when people swoop in and give unsolicited expert advice and then go home to places where they've not resolved those same issues they're here pontificating on. However, I was invited to speak to you today and touch upon these issues, and so I will tell you what I think. As I said earlier, at the beginning of the 20th century, W.B. Du Bois wrote, "The problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line." If Du Bois were writing today, he might write, "The problems of the 21st century are the questions that racial and ethnic diversity and their intersections with gender, sexual orientation, religion, socioeconomic status, and other identities pose for our nation and for the world." President Bierman was on to something. Now, in November 2008, Senator Barack Obama was elected President of the United States. And the election of Barack Obama as President of the United States has been and remains mind-bending to me. One of my close colleagues described it as one of the most astonishing moments in American history. And I have to tell you and have to admit that I did not believe that this country had in its soul the ability and will to elect a black man or black woman to the presidency, even if he or she were obviously the most qualified. But you did. We did. The election of Barack Obama as President of the United States was something that my student colleagues and I certainly could not have realistically imagined back in 1969. Now, of course, President Obama's election does not mean that we have suddenly become a post-racial society or that centuries of personal and institutionalized racism and class divisions have suddenly been erased. In fact, you need only look at what I would describe as a backlash against an unprecedented treatment of President Obama and an all-out effort for him simply to fail, to be labeled forever as a one-term failed experiment, or even worse, a national mistake. Or observe the Trayvon Martin killing that has certainly rekindled many issues around race in America, including the perception of the African American males as the threatening other. Also, while extraordinary progress, or what I as a flaming liberal would call progress, while much progress has also been made relative to gay rights and women's rights, we have also recently witnessed societal struggles over issues of women's reproductive rights and pay equity, marriage equality for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender citizens, income inequality as exemplified by the 99% movement, educational inequality as we watch in some states, including Wisconsin and my home state of California, as we watch the systematic defunding of public education, national and state immigration policy targeting and profiling Latinos, and voter suppression efforts seeking to limit the political power of low-income and particularly certain ethnic and minority groups, and a general widening of the gap between the haves and the have-nots. In some cases, we are witnessing efforts to back away from rights and principles that have been in place for decades. Indeed, the problems of the 21st century are the questions that racial and ethnic diversity and their intersections with gender, sexual orientation, religion, socioeconomic status, and other identities pose for our nation and for the world. So these are the issues that Beloit College is wrestling with, and these are the issues that you, the emerging leaders of the 21st century, will have to engage. Even though it is approaching 50 years ago When President Upton said these words at my freshman convocation, they ring true today. You have had an extraordinary privilege to be students here at Beloit College, and with such great privilege comes extraordinary responsibility to society. President Upton was clear that with privilege comes obligation. So what are you going to do with the problems of the 21st century? Now, you graduates are probably sitting out there waiting for me to tell you what to do, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to because I don't have all the answers, and frankly, the answers reside in you. The answers reside within your generation, within your energy, in your intellect, in your passion, and in your efforts. My generation took up the challenges of our time and did what we could. I think we did pretty well, and as I said, we made progress. Dr. King made progress, Cesar Chavez made progress, Malcolm X made progress, Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan made progress. But the baton has now been passed to you. Much of the task that has fallen to you looks a lot like the struggles my generation faced, but much also has changed. And you're the ones who must identify and understand the issues of today, define the solutions, and take the next steps of progress. I'll give you two little hints. The first is to deal with unthinking privilege. That is, privilege that some members of our society have simply because of what they are. Privilege that they take for granted and that they are unaware that other people do not have. Second hint, you will know when you've succeeded, you will know when you're there, when diversity is unremarkable and woven into the fabric of everyday life. The election of President Obama has pulverized the old models, conceptual structures, and ways of viewing diversity, race, gender, sexuality, culture. His election has destroyed those models and changed the path of history forever. And in hindsight, if one watched and paid attention to you students, you guys out there, and your behavior over the past few years, you could see it coming. You, those sitting in this audience, the graduating class of 2012, in your own way, this generation has already begun to lead us into the future. President Obama was right. You are the ones we've been waiting for. You have had this extraordinary privilege to live, work, and study at this world-class college, at Beloit College, that has prepared you to become the leaders of the 21st century and to live a life of consequence and purpose. You are the ones we've been waiting for. Congratulations, members of the graduating class of 2012. Remember, turtles all the way down.
Thank you very much, Dr. Young. Among the most critical variables for the future of Beloit College's success is the retention of its faculty. I'm going to improve retention right now by inviting our faculty to make themselves a little bit more comfortable. You can take off your hats and unzip your gowns. No such luck, students. The Administrative Policy Manual of Beloit College provides that honorary degrees may be granted to those whose achievements are extraordinary and who represent by their lives and works the ideals for which Beloit College stands. I now call upon Jerry Gustafson, Professor of Economics and founder of the Center for Entrepreneurship and Liberal Education at Beloit, to present our first candidate recommended for an honorary degree at today's ceremony.
There's a particular honor for me to be able to make this presentation today. In a letter to new students at the University of California, Santa Barbara, where he is the longtime Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Michael Young tells those new community members of their responsibilities to self and society. The privilege of attending the university, he writes, comes with a number of responsibilities. These, he writes, can be summed up in 3 simple words: scholarship, leadership, and citizenship. This idea that a college student is both privileged and duty-bound to contribute, even to lead, is one that he has modeled. For Michael Young is and has been a scholar, a leader, and a contributor in the world in which he lives and has lived. There is evidence everywhere, in Beloit, in Santa Barbara, today and decades past, and at numerous points and places in between. Michael came to Beloit College from his hometown of Chicago in 1965. During his time on campus, he would captain the football team, lead Beta Theta Pi, chair the Afro-American Union, and deliver his class commencement address, among many other activities. But it was a field term directing a student-led program in Cleveland, Mississippi, which he has called the most significant and important experience of his life. At the Beloit Tutoring Center, he would work with young people and adults and spend his evenings and weekends canvassing the region to register rural farm workers to vote. Michael returned to Beloit to continue his service and studies. Eager to see more black students recruited to the college and more faculty of color on campus, he helped write and deliver a document titled The Black Demands that called for the college to better attract, support, and represent black students and faculty and their culture on campus. It was neither an easy nor a roundly applauded effort at the time. But as a spokesman for the students said back then, it was an effort launched to improve Beloit College. This commitment to inspiring positive change, even when difficult, has defined Michael's life ever since. After earning his master's degree in history at the University of Michigan, he returned to Beloit as a member of the college's faculty and staff and contributed to the development of some of the Beloit programs he had helped launch when a student. After earning his PhD in higher education administration at the University of Iowa, it was Wesleyan University in the community of Middleton, Connecticut, that benefited from his efforts and attention. And since 1990, as Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, it has been that campus, those students, and the community and organizations of Santa Barbara that he has served and led. Michael Young has devoted his career to energizing lives and engendering success for all. He has shown Beloit College and Beloit students, then and now, the power of patience and the promise of perseverance. Mr. President, I have the distinct honor and high privilege to present to you Michael D. Young for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
As president of Beloit College, it is an honor and a pleasure to confer upon you, Michael Young, with this Beloit College diploma. The degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, by authorizing the Chief Marshal to invest you with the appropriate hood. Our second candidate recommended for an honorary degree at today's ceremony is unable to be in attendance to personally accept this honor. Civil rights activist James Werg came to Beloit College in 1958 from Appleton, Wisconsin, a place where he had never known a person of color. By 1961, he would be widely known as one of the Freedom Riders who pushed states to comply with federal desegregation laws by boarding buses in the North and riding them into the Deep South. How did the son of a dentist and homemaker make this transformation and make it so rapidly? It started at Beloit. After witnessing prejudice against his roommate and classmate Bob Carter, one of a handful of African-American students at Beloit at the time, Jim did what he later called his first great act of defiance. He withdrew his pledge from Sigma Chi when he learned the fraternity did not allow black members. In an effort to understand how it felt to be a minority, he enrolled for a semester exchange at Fisk University, a predominantly black school in Nashville. There, he was drawn to the civil rights movement, meeting students whose belief in nonviolence was deeply rooted in their faith and the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, and Jesus Christ. One of these students was John Lewis, now the congressman from Georgia, then leader of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and a fellow Freedom Rider. Together, the group practiced embracing nonviolent principles. With them, Jim learned to control what he once described as his own hot temper. These lessons would be tested. In 1961, this 21-year-old white student from Wisconsin took part in the second leg of the Freedom Rides, which landed him in jail and later put him in the midst of an angry mob. That day, as Jim and his fellow Freedom Riders attempted to step off a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, a group of armed whites launched a brutal attack. The graphic photograph of Jim, battered and bloody, appeared in Time and Life magazines and in newspapers across the country. Many believe this unforgettable image helped catalyze the movement. But Jim paid a high price for his role in the Freedom Rides. He suffered a broken back and a concussion, remaining unconscious for several days after the beating. His involvement drove a wedge between him and his parents, who did not support his efforts. He was conflicted by the attention he received and racked with guilt, believing he earned notoriety because he was white. During the 51 years that have passed since this historic ride, Jim has consistently shied away from attempts to brand him as a hero, yet Beloit College takes great inspiration from him for demonstrating the powerful combination of thought and action, and for showing us the role of personal responsibility in service of society. Even in the face of grave danger, we commend him for his career of service that followed the Freedom Rides, including to the people of his congregations as a minister in both Wisconsin and Arizona, and later to the business and nonprofit communities he served as an administrator. We return to his story for what it can teach us about the courage to do what is right, not when it is easy, but when it is physically and emotionally difficult. Jim was there in Montgomery, in a volatile place and time in our country's history, and he made his presence matter. We are proud to call Jim Zwerg a Beloiter. As president of Beloit College, it is an honor and a pleasure to confer upon James Zwerg the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and it is at least plausible that Jim Zwerg is watching and listening to this ceremony from his home through the internet. I suggest we give him a warm welcome. We wish you were here with us, Jim. Now, in tribute to the graduates we honor today, please join in the singing of the college song, Domine Salvum Fac. The words and music are printed at the back of your program. Members of the Beloit College Chamber Singers, directed by Susan Rice, will lead us in our song. And I see the chamber singers are coming forward even as I speak. Would you all please stand and join in? You can be seated again. That was wonderful. The chamber singers have just returned from both a concert on campus a couple of weeks ago and then a wonderful opportunity to sing in Madison just on Friday. I now call upon Nancy Kresko, Professor of Anthropology, to present the candidate recommended for emeritus status at today's ceremony.
Nancy McDowell, the William S. Godfrey Jr. Professor of Anthropology, joined Beloit College in 1994 as Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the College. In 1998, she transitioned from the Dean's office to the Anthropology Department, a move that brought her back into the classroom. At the time, she believed that her pedagogical skills were rusty after several years away from teaching. She met this challenge by renewing her interests in her research and by studying the ways in which anthropology had changed over the years. This work eventually led to the diversity of Beloit's upper-level anthropology curriculum as Nancy developed and taught courses like the anthropology of religion, anthropology and literature, contemporary millenarian movements, and anthropology and science fiction. From 2000 to 2003, Nancy chaired the anthropology department, focusing her administrative skills on major curricular revisions. She challenged members of the department to design a curriculum that would provide students with anthropological skills for the 21st century. Even after her service as chair ended, she continued working with colleagues on improving assessment and revising the curriculum. The result of these efforts is today's rigorous curriculum, which offers a variety of classes at each level and is carefully designed to build on students' anthropological knowledge and interests. Nancy has been prolific in her intellectual pursuits. She has conducted 4 extensive periods of fieldwork in Papua New Guinea, authored 1 book, and published more than 30 peer-reviewed papers, monographs, and articles. She directed a research project for the government of Papua New Guinea on population policy and reproductive decision-making that resulted in an edited volume. She has helped organize symposia for the American Anthropological Association, served as secretary for the American Ethnological Society, and fulfilled a variety of roles on the board of the Association for the Social Anthropology in Oceania, including serving as its chair. She has been a consultant and evaluator for the North Central Association of Colleges and Universities and a member of the Board of Trustees for the Higher Learning Commission. As she retires from Beloit, she plans to continue working on several anthropological projects, but she will also spend more time with her menagerie of cats and dogs. That menagerie now boasts 2 new members, who in truth actually look more like little ponies, her Great Dane puppies, Stan and Ollie. Mr. President, I have the distinct honor and high privilege to present Nancy McDowell for emeritus status.
Thank you, Nancy. In honor of her 18 years of service and as a symbol of our deep appreciation and abiding respect, we welcome Nancy McDowell into the honored ranks of Beloit College Faculty Emeriti. The Warren Miller Blue Skies Award, voted on by members of the Student Affairs staff, pays tribute to a member of the senior class who has helped to foster good cheer, to good-humored perspective, and saving grace in the conduct of our daily lives together on campus. Warren Miller is a Beloit alumnus who is famous for his many New Yorker magazine cartoons. Each year, a framed drawing of a special cartoon he created for the college is given to the award winner. This year's recipient is constantly upbeat and always wearing a smile. She has never met a stranger and is always willing to stop, talk, help a friend, solve a problem, share a story. She has taken advantage of every opportunity Beloit College has to offer. She is a scholar, athlete, and tremendously involved in campus life. But her laugh and the vision of her huge loopy earrings will be the lasting memory long after she has graduated. Would Amani Edwards from Atlanta, Georgia, please come to the stage to accept the Blue Skies Award? If you don't know this already, Amani just completed a spectacular outing at the most recent Midwest Conference Track and Field Championships. Congratulations, Amani. As a tribute to Martha Peterson in her final year as Beloit's 7th president, members of the class of 1981 established a prize to go to a senior student who best exemplifies the college's liberal arts traditions as a student and active contributor to the campus community. Faculty members nominate 4 students from each division, and those nominations are presented to senior class members who then elect the winner by ballot. This year's recipient was a Duffy Scholar, studied abroad, served as student ambassador for OIE, was the student coordinator of the Campus and Community Outreach Center, a member of Kappa Delta sorority, served as an orientation leader, acted as coordinator of the Right Reading Program, and was the student representative to the School District of Beloit Wellness Committee. She graduates today with honors in psychology and a minor in biology and society as an elected member of Phi Beta Kappa, a member of Mortarboard, the winner of the Bingham Prize in psychology as the outstanding senior major, and is a member of Psi Chi, the International Honor Society in Psychology. In August, she will enter the doctoral program in biobehavioral health at Penn State University. Please congratulate Danica Slavish from Beloit, Wisconsin, on receiving the 2012 Martha Peterson Prize. The seniors chosen to deliver the class address are Mashal Malik from Islamabad, Pakistan, and Ian Hedges from Charleston, West Virginia. Mashal and Ian received numerous awards at Honors Day. You can come forward. Mashal and Ian received numerous awards at Honors Day. She was one of 2 recipients of the Albert R. Topps Economics Award, Barbara and Jeffrey Bartlett Prize in Philosophy, and the Sikandra Spain Memorial Award. Ian received the Claudette Cummings Prize in Community Health. Both Ian and Mashal were recipients of the Weisberg Human Rights Fellowship. Please join me in welcoming Mashal and Ian.
Faculty, staff, family, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2012. Good morning.
Today, we say goodbye to Beloit, and because it is our last day here as students, we thought it fitting to take these few minutes to think about what exactly it is we're saying goodbye to. Let's think about the place where you've spent the best part of the last 4 years. Let's think about what makes Beloit, Beloit.
Beloit is where you can wear your dorky pajamas to brunch and not be stared at. It's where being part of a Greek organization might mean playing Quidditch on Aldrich Field, and where, in practice, we have 2 mascots instead of 1 because we just don't see why we should have to pick. Beloit is where we call our professors by their first names and enjoy close relationships with many of them, practices that reflect a tradition of trust and partnered learning. It's where students engage in heated debate in classrooms, at their dorms, and through Wisconsin's oldest student-run newspaper. It's where we ignore national holidays, to the dismay of many, but cancel class so that students can watch their peers give accounts of their experiences abroad, or so that they can sleep in, or whatever. It's where conventional traditions, such as the school song and the school motto and the school colors, are a part of us but do not define us, except maybe the bell run and spring day. What we're trying to say is, this community genuinely values who you are over what you wear, how passionate you are over how much you can pay, self-reflection over the blind pursuit of tradition, and most importantly, intellectual curiosity over competition.
And it is because this community values intellectual curiosity so highly that we are given the freedom to be rabble-rousers, to pursue our unique passions, and to truly be innovators. These qualities can be witnessed at the ABBA Art Gallery, where a senior turned his love for monsters into a vibrant senior art project, or in the Merrill neighborhood, where another student spent her senior year arranging free music lessons with donated instruments. In class of 2012, we have been rabble-rousers since day one. When we stepped into Eaton Chapel during our freshman orientation, we set the precedent for being that lone voice in the crowd. When Mara Collin asked students where they were from, they quietly said their home states and countries. However, it was the loud holler of the People's Republic of China from David Yu that set the bar for how we must be loud, how we must be bold, and how we must be the rabble-rousers in the crowd. And since that day, we have never fell below that standard. We as a class have continued to let our voices rise to the occasion. Some of us were in solidarity, sleeping in the Science Center to show our support for Wisconsin workers. Others spoke out against discrimination, which led to a campus-wide dialogue about immigration and ethnic studies here at the college. And sometimes, some of us just wore a diaper on a Friday night, just to make a statement.
And we, the class of 2012, are joining a long list of Beloiters that have been passionate innovators and rabble-rousers. Take, for example, Clarence Ellis, class of 64, who was a junior at Beloit when the first computer was donated to the college. He was asked to help set it up, and it's rumored that he spent so much time on this task that he would sleep overnight in the lab. Not only did Ellis help set up Beloit's first computer lab, he went on to become, in 1969, the first African-American PhD in computer science, and then developed a software that was to become the basis for Apple's Macintosh and Microsoft Windows.
Or take example from another rabble-rouser, Chris Fleming, class of 2009, who, 1989, who in 2009 won the International Paranormal Acknowledgement Award for Best Psychic Medium Male TV Personality. Also a considerable achievement.
So we started off by thinking about the quirks that really make Beloit, Beloit, so that we could savor what we're saying goodbye to today. But in the end, we realized that it is we, the Beloiters, that truly make Beloit, Beloit. Let's never forget that. Let's never lose our passion for pursuing something challenging, our willingness to ask the big questions, and the readiness with which we stand up for what we believe in.
And as we move forward on this day, let us all embrace the Beloiter inside of us. And so in that way, we never truly have to say goodbye to Beloit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michelle and Ian. I'm now pleased to introduce the president of the Beloit College Alumni Association Board of Directors, Stacy Kern-Shearer, a member of the class of 2000.
Hello. Congrats to you graduates and to your loved ones. I'm here today to welcome you to Beloit Alumnihood. There are about 15,000 of us around the world, and we can't wait to meet you. About 5 or so years after I graduated, I was sitting in a new and unfamiliar city in my office. All of a sudden, I was flat out homesick for Beloit. So I did what any 20-something would do, particularly in a time before Facebook. I went to the Beloit website to see if I could find any help. And voila, within a few weeks, I was at a regional Beloit event in DC, watching the Bucks beat Grinnell on ESPN2. I had never met any of the other alums there, and frankly, most of them were my parents' age. But our kinship was immediate, and although we were strangers, we spoke the same Beloiter language, and we had the same Beloiter common history. And I was hooked and decided I wanted to meet more of these alums. So skip forward some years to today, when after many Beloit reunions, homecomings, and regional events, I count among my Beloit friends not just my classmates from my days as a student here, but Frank from 61, Jamie from 92, Steve from 86, Ben from 62, and many others from across the decades. I am grateful for their fascinating stories about what Beloit was like when they were here and where their Beloit education has led them. Because of my fellow alums, Beloit is not frozen in time as it was when I was here, but a living and breathing place with a rich history and present of people and stories that inspire and make me prouder than ever to count myself among its ranks. So in closing, my advice to you is, do not wait until you find yourself in a midday stupor hundreds of miles away, wanting nothing more than an omelet from Commons and a sunny day on the mounds. Come back early and often. Look for gathering opportunities where you live or volunteer to host an event wherever you land. Dive into the alumni experience, whether it be for networking or career advice, to be inspired by the Beloiters who graduated before you or after you, or simply to have a good time with kindred spirits. Your Beloit experience is not ending today. The alumni community, I hope, will expand and reinforce the notion that Beloit is a special place, and it's felt no matter where you are. And the humor, inspiration, humility, and creativity that you will find in your fellow alums will be another Beloit education unto itself. And frankly, we can't wait to hear from you and to hear your stories about your time at Beloit. Thank you, and congratulations.
I now call on James R. Sanger, Chair of the Board of Trustees, to bring greetings to the graduating seniors on behalf of the trustees and to present the board statement of authorization for the granting of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees at today's exercises. Jim.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Beloit's Board of Trustees, I'm pleased to extend our best wishes and congratulations to all members of the class of 2012 and to their families and friends. It is my pleasure to inform you that the Board of Trustees has authorized the awarding of appropriate degrees at this year's commencement exercises to all such candidates as have been certified by the registrar and approved by the faculty. In accordance with these actions, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Beloit College, I now call upon President Scott Bierman to confer these awards pursuant to the legal authority vested in the Board of Trustees under the charter granted by the legislature of the Territory of Wisconsin on February 2nd, 1846.
Dean Davies, will you now please present the candidates for degrees?
Mr. President, I first have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Will these candidates please rise and commence coming forward? A candidate who attains the highest scholastic standing during 4 years of work at Beloit College is selected to represent the group and to receive a hood in recognition of this achievement. By action of the appropriate authorities and with the approval of the faculty and the Board of Trustees, the candidate so chosen to represent the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts at this 162nd commencement exercise is Marley Rachel Furman from Lincoln University, Pennsylvania, whose degree is awarded summa cum laude with departmental honors in literary studies. Will this candidate please come forward?
Don't go too far.
In accordance with the recommendation of the Dean of the College, on behalf of the faculty and the Board of Trustees of Beloit College, and by the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Together with the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining.
Leah May Abel, summa cum laude, departmental honors, creative writing and music. Kirsten Vanessa Acosta. Benna Lee Alberg. Amelia L. Amirati. Kenneth Gerard Andrzejewski. Ariana Marie Anderson, summa cum laude. Julianne Marie Angeli, magna cum laude. James Thomas Argood. Devin William Armstrong, departmental honors, classical civilization. Jenny Edith Avalos. Yenny Lisette Avila. Joseph Patrick Bayato, magna cum laude. Matthias T. Balog. Jenny Marie Bauer, summa cum laude. Joy M. Balamarich, departmental honors, creative writing. Maya Evangeline Berman, cum laude. Marissa Davis Barrier. Caitlin Ann Basadny. Aman Satyam Bharti. Emily Nicole Bianchi, magna cum laude. Spencer Haynes Bible, cum laude, departmental honors, creative writing. Molly Noel Bleasy. Ilya Boyevich. Gregory Ronald Bongi, cum laude. Margaret Louise Brandt, cum laude. Samuel Harrison Braun. David F. Bremner, cum laude. Jennifer Faith Brinkmeyer, summa cum laude, departmental honors, anthropology. Joseph Bruno. Grace Elizabeth Burke. Abigail Hill Curzon Burnham, magna cum laude. Dana Elizabeth Bai, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Political Science. Laura Elizabeth Byrne. Nicholas Newton Canby, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Psychology. Sarah Amelia Carlisle. Karen Ann Carlson, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Communication. Elizabeth Ann Carner. Nathan Augustus Carroll, cum laude. Joshua Elliott Carton. Aurora Dawn Cothers Knox, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Anthropology. Grace Adrian Chamberlain, cum laude. Vivian Chen. Dominique Minerva Clayton, cum laude. Tanya Cohen Diaz. Kara Elizabeth Condon. Bryant Mitchell Conkling, magna cum laude. Neil Anthony Conway. Benjamin John Coonan, summa cum laude. Jeremy Wayne Cornelius, cum laude, Departmental Honors, Women's and Gender Studies. Cassandra Ann Coverdale. Catherine Ann Cox, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Marjorie Cray. Elizabeth Vaughn Cruzan, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Psychology. Joshua Davis. John Beck Diane, magna cum laude. Sasha J. DeBevick McKenney, cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Shane Patrick Donnelly. Shi Yu Du, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Physics. Mitchell Aaron Dubin. David L. Dunder, cum laude. Jared Andrew Dorloff, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Shanti Michelle Duval. Scott Forrest Dyke, cum laude. Anna Elizabeth Ebert. John F. Ekblad. Amani Renee Edwards. Hannah Elizabeth Edwards. Jacob Thomas Ehrenreich. Isaac Bernhard England, cum laude. Mikhail R. Erickson. Miguel A. Estrella. Jamie Bhavani Eversage, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Psychology. Ulrich Faircloth. Brian Andrew Fair. David Thomas Feldman, magna cum laude. Aaliyah Ann Finman Palmer. Amelia Carolyn Fox. Candace Joy Fox. Wesley R. Fox, summa cum laude. Elizabeth Kingsbury Freeman, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Dance. Mark Anthony Frecker. Julia Elizabeth Freeberg, summa cum laude. Dale D. Gable. Catherine Ann Gardner. Matthew James Gavin. Janice Emma Geis, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Theater Arts. Logan James Gill. Tana Lauren Gore, magna cum laude. Gabrielle Grace Gonzalez, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Sociology. Alexander Sheldon Gorski. Guthrie O'Neill Graves. Henry David Greenfield. Georgiana Grace Grigori, magna cum laude. Joseph Francis Gruber, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Philosophy. Soila Griselda Wachichulka. Tobias E. Girl, cum laude. Lauren Elizabeth Hall, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Sociology. Ellery Prescott Hammond, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Chinese Language and Culture. Caitlin Ann Hanno. Beth Ann Hansen, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Literary Studies. Alan Edward Houghton Jr., magna cum laude. Kelly Sharon Hayes, magna cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Healy, cum laude. Ian Connor Hedges. Alexis Metzger Hernandez. Eric Thomas Hetland, cum laude. Yuko Hirai. Lisa Anthony Horan, magna cum laude, departmental honors, creative writing. Michael David Horton. Eric John Hudson. Alexander Joseph Hunter, magna cum laude, departmental honors, literary studies. Marissa Lee Hutton, magna cum laude, departmental honors, dance. Kei Ishii. Stephen Brokaw Jackson, summa cum laude, departmental honors, interdisciplinary studies. Jordan Allen Yannicki. Sally Austin Jaffrey, magna cum laude, departmental honors, music. Lauren Mary Jankowski, cum laude. Alexander William Jennings. Matt Johnson III. John Daniel Hathaway Jorgensen. Dana Marie Kaput, cum laude, departmental honors, art history. Caitlin Reese Carvinen, magna cum laude. That whole alphabet thing. How many PhDs does it take? Are you ready, Sophie? Sophie Claire Kaufman. Livia Ray Kelly. Chelsea Lynn Knopf. Bethany Kristen Kosmicki, cum laude. Caitlin Nicole Kozak. Emma Louise Kozera. Madeline Rose Kramer, magna cum laude. Melinda Allison Krause Parada, magna cum laude, departmental honors, education and youth studies. Adam Andrew Kubisky. Kyle P. Kurtenbaugh. Ashley Marie Lanham, magna cum laude. Zachary George Lascaris. Hannah Christine Lorenzo, magna cum laude. Emily Francis Law. Yeah. Timothy F. Lawrence, magna cum laude. Edward Andrew Lee, cum laude. Elena Therese Leonard, cum laude, departmental honors, creative writing. Sam Wolf Lewis, magna cum laude. Yu Lin, magna cum laude. Christopher Thomas Lofstedt. Michael Stephen LaGiacono, cum laude. Joseph Vanderford Long. Alan Robert Loth. Derek Stoneman Lines. Eric David Magnuson, cum laude. Michal Aman Malik, summa cum laude. Stephanie Marburger. Brian Anthony Mon. Allie Lorraine Maxwell. Kathleen R. Maynor. Rachel Elizabeth McCartney. Lisa V. McClure. Molly Lynn McCracken, cum laude. Alexander Grevich McDonald. Kristen Kelsey McGilligan. Elizabeth Maria McKinley, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors History. Graham Patrick McNamee, cum laude. Thomas Jeffrey Melton. Yuka Maseki, cum laude. Evan Patrick Michaels. Ashley Rebecca Miglin. Natalie F. Moore. Thomas Strider Moritz. Jason David Muma, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, International Relations. Jenna Murphy Judelson. David Michael Nadeau. Emily Catherine Nigel, cum laude. Emery Nathaniel Nelms, cum laude. Sophia Aisha Christine Norani. Jamie Rachel Norton, cum laude. Haley Louise Nodder, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Megan Siobhan O'Doherty. Joshua Samuel Offit, cum laude. Yatunda Jacqueline Olubaju. Jennifer Johanna Olson, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Religious Studies. Colin Laird Piercy, cum laude. Elizabeth Jane Peckham. Lucia Lauteria Peralta. Alan J. Perlin, summa cum laude. Ethan Moriello Peters, summa cum laude. Jenny Marie Peterson. David Petty, cum laude. Yes. Tu en femme. Long Hai Fan, magna cum laude. Alexander Zygmunt Pizarnik, summa cum laude. Catherine Peisowitz, cum laude. Madeline Frances Plummer. Matthew Allen Porter. Stephanie Taylor Previck, cum laude. Derek Curtis Pugh. Elizabeth A. Remington, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Education and Youth Studies. Warren Dale Riegler. Catherine Elizabeth Ringer. Sarah Brackett Robertson. Benjamin Maxwell Robinson. Don Robles. Erica Rodenbeck. Junwen Rodriguez, cum laude. Randy Rossing Sco, summa cum laude. Max Resnick Rothman, cum laude. Lauren Sad. Nico Miguel Salas, cum laude. Nina Nicole Salazar. Erica Elvira Sanchez. Beatrice Louise Santawood, magna cum laude. Gabriel Aaron Saslow. Sorry about that. Catherine Marie Sedlacek, magna cum laude. David Van Dorn Shields, cum laude. Brian Charles Schob, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Sociology. Laura Abigail Schoep, magna cum laude. Rachel Mariana Siddons. Benjamin Weedle Siebert, Departmental Honors, Religious Studies. Jessica Quinn Slattery. Danica Christine Slavish, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Psychology. Thomas Catton Slusher, magna cum laude. Susan Emily Smella, magna cum laude. Chelsea M. Steck, cum laude. Daniela Sarah Stein. Terrence T. Stewart II. Samuel Benjamin Stork Post, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Physics. Harrison Suits Bayer. Jennifer M. Zakin Graziano. Danko Tarabar, magna cum laude. Alexandra Marie Tubal. Fulani Joy Thrasher. Aaron J. Teasling Rush, cum laude. Travis James Towns, cum laude. Mira Isaac Treatman. Jacob A. Tressimer. Emily Noel Verberg. Skylar Wilder Versteeg. Jack Vishneski, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors History. August Louis Voorhees. Can I have it? True N. Vautran. Brianna Rose Walsh. Lee Egan Retzler Wasson. Isaac Charles Watson. Ronit Sapora Weinman. Stephen Dennis White, Jr. Sally Wiedenbeck, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Sociology. Dana Ann Wiersbicki. Regina F. Walensky, magna cum laude. Michael Roy Williams, cum laude, Departmental Honors Anthropology. Scott Victor Williams, magna cum laude. Christopher Tadine Wilson. Tessa Ann Wood. Yu Wu, magna cum laude. Robert William Wiak. Oliver Michael Wyckoff, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Political Science. Erica K. Ingvey. Yuna Yoshida. David Yu, summa cum laude. Jerica Ann Zarek, summa cum laude. Erlan Zong, magna cum laude. Benjamin William Zook. Mr. President, I next have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science. A candidate who attains the highest scholastic standing during 4 years of work at Beloit College is selected to represent the group and to receive a hood in recognition of this achievement. By action of the appropriate authorities and with the approval of the faculty and the Board of Trustees, the candidate so chosen to represent to represent the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science at this 162nd commencement exercise is Ari Benjamin Jacobs from Mequon, Wisconsin, whose degree is awarded summa cum laude with departmental honors in chemistry. Will the candidate please come forward?
Always one step ahead of the curve, Ari. In accordance with the recommendation of the Dean of the College, on behalf of the faculty and the Board of Trustees of Beloit College and by authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science. The token of the hood now placed upon you confers upon all the candidates whom you represent the degree of Bachelor of Science, together with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining.
Tirza Millicent Abbott, Departmental Honors Geology. Elizabeth M. Ames, magna cum laude. Melissa Claire Apland. Hannah Jane Blatchford, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Geology. Elizabeth Grace Sepperly, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Geology. Yu Guan Chen, cum laude. Mark Corey Coogan. Molly Elizabeth Dixon, magna cum laude. Adeline Dominguez. Mackenzie Kaylin Falker, cum laude. Xiao Rei Fan, magna cum laude. Emerson Margaret Fuller, cum laude. Jennifer Louise Gilbertson, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Chemistry. Matthew Stephen Hackbart, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Biochemistry. Mackenzie Lee Hilliard. Allie Louise Hunter, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Chemistry. Savannah Jo Houston, cum laude. India Louise John, cum laude, Departmental Honors Environmental Geology. Aaron Michael Noel Joyner. Faith Jasmine Jones. Courtney J. Kingsland. Aaron Jonathan Laurent. Sujia Liang, magna cum laude. Evan C. Machete, magna cum laude. Megan Ann Morrissey Mason, cum laude. Jared Richard McCannon, cum laude. Catherine Ann McCormick, summa cum laude. Caitlin E. McDonough, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Biology. Katie Nicole McQueen. Adam Lewis Nicholas, cum laude. Alexander Paul Norman. Casey Ann Perkins. Jordan K. Posner. Morgan Evan Renberg, summa cum laude. Martha Louise Robinson. Vincent Joseph Salucci, magna cum laude. Catherine Marie Sant. Jorge Fernando Silva. Tyler James Sens. Li Shen, cum laude. Sarah Alicia Steria, cum laude, Departmental Honors Chemistry. Kellen Lawrence Sullivan. William Daniel Thompson, cum laude. Erin Patrice Tuffy, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Biology. Yang Yang, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Biology and Mathematics.
It is my great honor to present to you, my friends, the class of 2012. We need to thank the talented and tuneful brass ensemble led by John Myers. We are enormously grateful for the dedicated and professional work of our maintenance, housekeeping, food, and ground staff who are responsible for making the campus as welcoming and beautiful as it is today. The hardest and most important job at any commencement is held by the person who has the sacred responsibility of pronouncing all your names accurately. I think you will agree that Dean Ann Davies has done this spectacularly well. Culpa praepositum. We need to thank Susan Smella, who is the artistic talent behind the cover of the commencement program. I wonder if the graduating class of 2012 will take a moment to look around you and, if possible, find your family. They have come from around the region and around the country and marvelously from around the world. They have come to be with you today to celebrate you. But as much as this day is about you, you would not have gotten to this point were it not for them. These people have supported you in every way imaginable. They have invested in you love and wisdom and treasure because you, along with other members of your family, are the most precious assets in their life. They did so trusting that the college would prepare you to live a life of purpose and consequence, and it has. I hope you will join me in taking a moment, a very loud and heartfelt moment, to thank them. Testudines in totum et perpetuum. But you're also here as beneficiaries of generations of past students, parents, and friends of the college. The buildings you see around you are built and paid for by alumni, parents, and friends of the college who thoroughly believed in the mission of the school and trusted that their treasure would help. And the resources the college employs to help make this education possible, the over $19 million each year the college spends on financial aid, is a direct result of thousands of generous supporters who believe that access to this school like this matters. Without it, without them, there would not be a graduating class of 2012 that looks or feels anything like you, and that would be a crime. Will you join me in thanking the many people who have supported this college so generously, many of whom are in this gathering and on this stage? Testudines in totum et perpetuum. Now take a look around at the faculty and staff that are here today. If you asked any of them what it is that keeps them working at Beloit College, they would answer without any hesitation that it is you. Your success is their success, and your experience on this campus has been what it is because of their efforts. I wonder if you can take a moment to join me now, one more time, graduating class of 2012, in thanking the staff and faculty of Beloit College. Testudines in totum et perpetuum. Finally, look around at your classmates. When you set foot on this campus, what did you expect? As you look around today, how much richer and more fulfilling have your relationships with these people been than you ever predicted? What is your debt to these people for the ways they have encouraged you to grow and develop, come to your rescue when the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune seemed too great to bear, challenged you to explore new worlds and to see the world through different lenses, and made you laugh, and laugh at things that only a Beloiter will laugh at? How much have you learned from them? How much have they made a difference? Please thank them. Testudines in totum et perpetuum. In the new yearbook edition of the Roundtable, a number of seniors penned Dear Beloit letters. I found many of these insightful, moving, mostly well-written, and only mildly obscene. One in particular struck a chord. It was from Daniela Stein. Here it is, slightly edited. I hope that's okay. Dear Beloit, when we first got together, I was so excited about us. I think that is why I took it so hard when we had our first fight only a few weeks in. I didn't always give you the time and attention you deserved, but I also remember you asking for a lot of commitment. I just didn't know if I was ready to give. I was 18. I didn't really know what I wanted, and you had the grace to not judge me too harshly when things got kind of weird. I mean, you definitely told too many people. I think we both know you love to gossip. And we both know the middle was rough. It was just so easy not to care because I knew you too well. I knew how much I could get away with. I do regret that. But you held on to our relationship and waited patiently for me. Then we became partners. It was nothing like what I initially had imagined, but it gave me what I needed. Because of that, I'm ready to move on to something new. I'm sure you'll find someone else. Really, you're great, but it's time I found someone who can challenge me in different ways. But let's always stay friends, okay? Daniela Stein. So, Daniela, I happen to have come into possession of Beloit's response. Let me read it to you. Dear Daniela, I will miss you more than you will know. When we first met, I knew that you would leave me. I am, after all, not a cheap date. But I also know that your reasons for leaving are far more significant than money. You have a life of great consequence to lead, and it is time to get on with it. You are more than ready for new challenges, and you will transcend those challenges and then some. And it is, in fact, also true that I have rented out your room to someone new. Frankly, I need the money. You were generous in allowing me to change you, and you may be surprised at how you changed me. No wonder little was predictable in advance. If it were, the magic of our relationship would not have developed and matured. The part of me that attracted you most is the part that prepared you best to leave. You are bigger than me now. To make you so was always my intent. Stay in touch. You're right. I am an uncontrollable gossip. That will continue. I intend to trumpet your successes to all of my friends and relations with little inhibition. Always know that we will welcome you back when you return. We will hug you and tell you how proud we are of you. At the end of the day, Daniela, you are Beloit and I am you. Our time together has made us different, better, more substantive. Our futures are strengthened by our past. Testidunes, in totum, et perpetuum. Fondly, Beloit. There are 323 talented people sitting in front of me who are as Beloitish as Daniela. Aaron Chapin, the college's first president, said of the early alumni of the college something that I and future presidents will be able to say about you. Alma mater looks fondly on your faces. Her heart swells with worthy pride as she reviews the lives you have been living since you went out from her charge, and she borrows the honors you have won and wears them as jewels for her adornment today. Your presence fills her heart with gladness and her face with smiles. It has been a privilege to have you among us at Beloit College. Juat hodie Beloitenses esse. Beloit College, class of 2012, it is a great day to be a Beloiter. It is. I invite this class to stand and participate in one last Beloit tradition. The faculty and staff will follow the platform party out of the recessional. They will then create one last gauntlet through which you must pass. After that, please join us for lunch on the lawn behind Eaton Chapel. Thank you for being here today. Come back soon, and soon after that, and then again. I promise we will leave a light on for you. Thank you very much.